tell you what, let me ask you this. So Jerry Jones comes out today and he says we're working on a couple big trades. And one of the prominent questions that I think is going around right now is they're like, okay, well, the Cowboys are hunting wide receivers, and they really want to get a wide receiver at 12. They want an elite level number 2. They don't know that player, there's going to be an elite level. Like Pat McMillan doesn't get there. There's not necessarily an elite level number 2. So right now, I think a number of teams, I mean, just texting since Jerry Jones has come out and started talking about these trades, teams are wondering if that's George Pickens. Like because the Cowboys' assessment at 12 is that it's most likely that Emeka Egbuka is going to be there. They're not going to take a shot, I think, ultimately on Luther Burden. That's probably a little bit too high for Luther Burden. There's Matthew Golden, obviously out of Texas. And all those players kind of feel rich at 12. You don't have to go that way if you deal for like a George Pickens. And I think if the Steelers were to trade Pickens, then I think you start to open up some different possibilities at 21. I'm curious, are people there? Do you feel like you're hearing that same sort of linkage in terms of Pickens' availability? I think Pickens is available. I think they will pick up the phone on Pickens if someone wants to make an intriguing offer.
I mean, I hope they do. I want them to, because he's going into the last year of his contract. They traded for DK Metcalf. They traded DK Metcalf, and generally speaking, Pickens is kind of a volatile knucklehead.
Pony, would you say, though, to Charles's point, though, that we're hearing it's going in the other direction locally?
Yes,
here?
everything said
here. Keeping him,
Jerry Dulac, who is the biggest Steelers insider going, said that they're not trading him, but he gets a lot of things wrong. So I don't know, Charles. It makes all the sense in the world to trade him, especially if you can get a day 2 pick back for him. Which I'm guessing is what you're saying, right? That they would maybe trade him for a second or a third or somewhere in that range?
I think if they could get a day 2 pick, I think they would. I think you make that deal. And, he is I think based on what I know Dallas is looking for, he is a fit. Like when the 3 guys, I think right now the teams, when they heard Jerry Jones come out and say we're working on 2 substantial trades, I think they're looking at Jair Alexander, they're looking at Patrick Ramsey, Jalen Ramsey. Jeez, man, I've dated myself there. Jalen Ramsey, and then George Pickens, because that pick at 12, there's just been so much focus put on. I wrote this. I'd be stunned if it wasn't a wideout or a corner, and I can tell you it feels very rich for the wideouts at that position, which means they'd have to go find the wideouts somewhere else. And also, corner is a little bit thin. So there's basically if you're going to get a corner, you really want to get the first 3-4 corners, and then the shelf kind of changes dramatically. So if you're in it, you're saying, hey, we need an outside corner so we can, fiddle with our push Deron Bland into the slot.
Yeah.
You got to get that probably at 12. So they need to go hunting for a wide receiver. So the second he said that, I think a number of teams picked up on it.
The Cowboys have the 44th pick in the draft. That's their pick in the second round. I would want the Steelers to absolutely make that trade, if that's on the table.
Yeah, I think you'd have. But the thing is, though, and this is really what I wonder, I don't know if you're Dallas, you give up. I mean, if you're going and you're sitting there and you're saying, we got to get a number 2 and we have to resolve this, you're putting yourself in a situation where you already have to do a deal.
You got to pay
with
him.
A guy that, I mean, are you comfortable doing that?
He's volatile.
Not like
We're
he's in your building.
He's a volatile guy.
We're not on our end.
Yeah, right. Yeah, absolutely. And he's not, and that's the thing. It's the devil they don't know, right? They don't even have him in their building. They don't know what he's like on a day-to-day basis. So it's a little dicey, trading an asset that high. I'm sure, although I will say this, Dallas gives up assets higher than you would think.
Yeah, look at what they gave up for Mingo.
They get in return. Yeah, for Mingo. I mean, Trey Lance, same thing. I mean, they got a fourth for Trey Lance when literally nobody in the league, you would struggle to get a 6th for Trey Lance at the time that the Dallas Cowboys gave up a 4th. So not completely out of the realm of possibility, but I'll just tell you there's definitely buzz across the league right now where people are trying to pin down what exactly Dallas is doing. And I think a lot of people are looking at wide receiver options that could be on the table. And I think a lot of people have assessed that, Omar Khan will take calls on George Pickens.